What time is it? It's nation time.
Made for this moment. Interesting for me as I reflected on that idea, made for this moment. I really thought about how where we are as a people today is very reminiscent of where the nation of Israel was when they came to the point where there was a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph. So that really struck a chord with me.
I thought about that as I was putting my presentation together. And one of the things that stuck out is that we are, in a sense, in a period of time where we're being bombarded with a lot of negative narratives and negative actions, and just in rapid succession. It's not just one particular thing you can look at, but there's several things going on. But the crux of the matter is that we're in a situation where we are marginalized, and we find ourselves no longer being the focus of benevolence, which is the same thing that happened to the nation Israel after generations of having the benevolence bestowed upon them because of the progress they made with Joseph helping the Pharaoh survive famine. The nation Israel was looked upon as a group of others, even though they had helped to maintain and to build and sustain Egypt over the generations. And because of this, they were being treated in a manner that was uncharacteristic to that current generation. They had been through situations before where they had to struggle, but now they found themselves in a situation where even though they thought they had claim to being a part of the society, they were being treated as if they were not a part of society. And I think that's the situation that we find ourselves in today, with the eroding of voting rights and civil rights at risk.
As I listen to what you said, and of course reflect on the sermon, I really think about how I think about what you hear people say sometimes. If somebody give you something, then they can take it back from you. And we talk about building power within the context of the church, Black people needing to build institutions. You mentioned it in the sermon. So for me, it's kind of, I ask myself the question, are we wrong for expecting people that, in my opinion, are our enemy to do more for us than they've done, or to take back the things they've given us? So that was kind of what I was thinking as I reflected on the sermon and what you just said.
Well, I think that most of the things that we have achieved over the generations has not been because they were given to us. We had to fight for it. We had to earn it. It was not just handed to us just because of the niceness or the niceties. And so the advancements that we made, people struggled, they died, they sacrificed themselves for the right to vote, for the right to have access to certain things, in terms of integrating certain facilities. So in a way, when we say that they gave it to us and they could take it back, what we really mean is that we don't control the system that has been empowered to control this country. We're not a part of the power structure. The structure has been instituted to maintain power for those who are at the top of the chain. And we are not at the top, we are at the bottom. And we had to understand that we have to build our own institutions that can sustain ourselves. And that's how we survived for generations. We built our own institutions. We've had our own stores. We had our own schools. We had our own communities. But the point at which we relinquish control of those things that we can control, then we find ourselves subject to the whims and the advancement of another group.
But you said we're at the bottom. And for me, I'm also reminded of, you mentioned that we're marginalized.
When I say marginalized, I mean that we don't have a say-so. Like, we're we're demanding certain things, but we don't realize that the rules can be changed at any time. You know, a lot of times we look for the courts to come to our rescue, but depending upon who sits on the court, those rescues may or may not appear, but they still are considered a part of the established law or the decrees that are put forth. They don't have to necessarily work in our favor, depending upon those people who are controlling those decrees.
Well, I had a thought, I lost it that quick. But I think that maybe it's a misnomer. I'm not necessarily saying with you, but it's like we've struggled to, for things like the Voters' Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, even Reconstruction, which for me, as I interpret history, was like in terms of the short amount of time, we accomplished more than we ever did. But every time we've had successes in this system, it really has been because of some entity, and you said this, depending on who was in power. Those successes have depended on who was in the government, but the government has kind of came to our rescue, so to speak, and maybe that's not the best way to put it.
No, I understand exactly what you mean.
But now there is the metaphor of a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph is, to me, a perfect metaphor, because it's like it's a whole new regime in government now, and they just not of that mindset. But what it makes me think about, another point that I was able to gain from the sermon, you reference how best self theology teaches us that all of us are created with a spark of divinity, and that it gives us the dynamic to perpetually learn.
Yeah.
What came to me as I reflected on the sermon and the conversation we're having now is that you referenced Jeremiah Kamathi saying that a spark of divinity is in all of us, and it gives us the dynamic ability to perpetually learn. And it occurred to me that really is the part that prepares us to be made for this moment, because
yes,
the things we're seeing happen, we may not have seen them happen this way, but we've been here before, and we have stepped to the challenge.
right, exactly. We have stepped to the challenge, and we have to learn that we have to understand that we have the power to deal with this moment. We don't have to succumb to the moment. If we say, wow, look, this has happened to us before. Every time we try to get to a certain point, we get stopped. Backlash happens. Okay, well, we know that's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that we can't still build upon the success that we've had in the past, that we can't use our talents, that we can't perpetually learn. We have to learn how to take new approaches, to look at it in an innovative way, and to say we can build our own institutions. We don't have to wait for somebody else to come to our rescue. We are the ones who can provide for ourselves salvation. We have the power within ourselves to do that. We have a new generation of young people who are coming up who understand that they have unique talent and skills, and we don't have to use them for somebody else. We can use them for ourselves and benefit ourselves. Let's look at the wide appeal that we've had when we decided that we were going to boycott an institution that was not using it had our best interests in mind. We were able to make impact. We can do those kind of things, but we have to realize that we have that power. We don't have to wait on somebody else. Our help does not have to come from outside. Our help comes from inside. We have the ability to change ourselves, to grow, and to become what we need to be in order to be a successful people.
I'm so glad that you mentioned young people, because as I think about, and we're, the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, this is 72 years now, this year. And as I talk to different people like yourself, last week I had a conversation with Reverend Taliba, but most of the people that are the leadership now were the young people then, who believe beyond what older people may have thought. So it was because of the work of you, Jiramogi Kamathi. I mean, I could go on name the names, but people that were 19, 20, just like the young people you referenced today.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, because
go ahead.
when I see them and I talk to them, they have an energy, a fire that is not tempered by old excuses. It's not tempered by past feelings of inadequacy. They don't see a limit. I think when that youthful spirit that's there, you're still open to that power that's available to us, and you're not encumbered by old sayings or old traditions or old practices. But you say that there's something new that we can do. There's a new approach. There's a new vitality, and that we have to capture that energy from our young people and move forward. Not dismiss them because they're doing things differently, but understand and support them. Be those mentors that can help lead the way and to continue the strong legacy that we have created.
And for me, all that you've said can be surmised in, I heard somewhere, somebody said once, the revolutionary spirit of God is born anew in each generation.
Absolutely.
What time is it? It's nation time.